citing.
Just one other thing. He likes his beer, big time.
He likes his beer.
He loves his beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope sooner than later we'll understand what brings them together in that way.
He loves his beer. He hates Khumalo. He hates Masimula. He hates Mkhwanazi.
What would you do if you believed appearing before Parliament could cost you your life? Tonight, one of South Africa's most controversial forensic investigators, Paul O'Sullivan, says exactly that. He's refusing to appear in person before Parliament's Ad Hoc Committee, claiming he has received credible threats to his life, and he is pointing the finger directly at KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. This is no longer just politics. This is about power, fear, and accountability at the highest level. Welcome to Mzansi PoliScope, where we break down South Africa's most important political developments with facts, context, and clarity. If this is your first time here, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our in-depth analysis. And to our loyal subscribers, thank you for your continued support and trust. In this video, we focus on the escalating confrontation between Paul O'Sullivan and KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, unfolding before Parliament's Ad Hoc Committee. We will separate fact from allegation, explain why this story matters, and ask the hard questions about safety, accountability, and power in South Africa today. Paul O'Sullivan has officially told Parliament's Ad Hoc Committee that he will not appear in person before it. Instead, he has submitted a formal request to testify virtually, citing serious safety concerns. Why is this happening? O'Sullivan says that statements made publicly by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi have placed his life at risk. These statements were made on record while Mkhwanazi appeared before the same ad hoc committee. During that appearance, Mkhwanazi alleged that O'Sullivan had close ties to former IPID head Robert McBride, that some IPID operations were planned or influenced, and that O'Sullivan held too much influence in South Africa's criminal justice system. O'Sullivan claims these statements are more than just criticism. He says they amount to direct threats against his life. He believes the Parliament Ad Hoc Committee failed to take immediate action when these words were spoken. For O'Sullivan, the threat is real. For the country, it raises critical questions. If a high-profile forensic investigator fears appearing before Parliament, how safe are witnesses, whistleblowers, and truth itself in South Africa today? This is the story at the heart of one of the most high-profile confrontations in recent South African politics. In his letter to the Parliament Ad Hoc Committee, Paul O'Sullivan directly quoted KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, a statement that has sent shockwaves through South Africa's political and law enforcement circles. Mkhwanazi reportedly said, "It is time that this country must not sit back and be run by Paul O'Sullivan, and if government fails to act on it, the men and women in this country are going to take it upon themselves to do something drastic about it."
It is time that this country must not sit back and be run by Mr. Paul O'Sullivan. And if government fails to act on it, the men and women in this country, they're going to take it upon themselves to do something drastic.
O'Sullivan describes these words as a clear incitement to violence. He claims that by making such statements publicly, Mkhwanazi not only threatened him personally, but also created an environment where his safety could be compromised. He further accuses Parliament of failing to take immediate steps to warn or stop the police commissioner, despite the criminal implications of such remarks. For a witness to feel that appearing before Parliament could put their life at risk is unprecedented in recent memory. This statement is not just words. According to O'Sullivan, it directly influenced threats against him and forced him to take the extraordinary step of requesting virtual testimony instead of appearing in person. The incident has sparked a heated debate about power, accountability, and the role of senior police officials in South Africa.
Well, the first thing is he's not a member of the task force. So why? Let him explain. Why is he wearing task force uniform? Why did he have 6 men on either side of him wearing task force uniform with masks on and brandishing firearms. It was a media presentation. So what, was he afraid of the media? What did he think would happen to him at that conference? How much did it cost the taxpayer for him to be standing there? And by the way, he had pretty much the whole of the KZN Provincial Police Service there with him. So they were all there on a Sunday. He calls his impromptu press conference and he lies to the media. And we need to get to the bottom of it. But I can tell you, he's triggered something which may just be the end of his life in the police service.
Just tell us more on that point, Paul. What do you mean?
Well, the reality is he wasn't authorized to do what he did. If Masemola authorized him to do what he did, the two of them can go down together, because I'm calling for a judicial commission of inquiry. I have today written to the minister, and I've asked the minister, without overreaching his executive powers, to arrange for Masemola and Mkhwanazi to be suspended until we can get to the bottom of what their conduct is actually involved in and where it's leading.
Paul O'Sullivan's fear is not just based on words. He says he has received credible intelligence of a real threat to his life. According to his submission to Parliament Ad Hoc Committee, the threats appear to be inspired by public statements made by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. O'Sullivan believes that the combination of influence, public remarks, and powerful networks has created a very real danger for him. This is not without precedent. In December, Marius van der Merwe, a witness at the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry, was shot outside his home in Brakpan after testifying about police corruption. He had implicated senior police officials in wrongdoing, including suspended top cop Julius Mkhwanazi. His murder sent shockwaves through the justice system and reinforced the risks faced by whistleblowers and investigators in South Africa. O'Sullivan argues that in the current climate, appearing in person before Parliament could expose him to similar danger. These claims highlight a frightening reality. When those responsible for enforcing the law are implicated in threats, even the most high-profile investigators feel vulnerable. This raises urgent questions. How safe are witnesses and investigators? Can Parliament ensure protection, or has fear already begun to silence accountability? The confrontation between Paul O'Sullivan and Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi is not limited to Parliament. It has spilled into the courts in a high-stakes legal battle. In September, Mkhwanazi filed a $5 million defamation lawsuit against O'Sullivan. The commissioner claims that O'Sullivan made false statements to media houses accusing him of involvement in criminal activities. O'Sullivan responded swiftly with a $10 million counterclaim, arguing that Mkhwanazi himself had made false and defamatory statements about him during parliamentary proceedings and at the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry. This legal jewel underscores the complexity of the case. Both parties are high-profile figures in South Africa's criminal justice landscape. One, a top police official, the other, a forensic investigator with years of experience exposing corruption within the police. For the public, it is not just about money. It is about truth, accountability, and the limits of influence. The courts will ultimately decide on the merits of each claim, but in the meantime, the standoff continues to dominate headlines and fuel debate about power, justice, and safety in South Africa. This legal clash illustrates just how high the stakes are when senior investigators confront powerful police figures, and why safety concerns for witnesses cannot be ignored. This isn't just a personal clash between Paul O'Sullivan and Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. It's a story that touches the very heart of accountability and safety in South Africa. When a top forensic investigator fears appearing before Parliament's Ad Hoc Committee, it raises serious questions about the ability of witnesses and whistleblowers to speak truth to power. The safety of those who expose wrongdoing is meant to be protected, yet O'Sullivan's case shows that even high-profile figures are not immune. The implications are broader. If fear prevents testimony, critical investigations into police corruption and misconduct could stall. Public trust in law enforcement and democratic institutions could erode, making it harder for South Africans to rely on justice being served. This story also shines a light on the delicate balance between power and responsibility. senior officials like Mkhwanazi wield enormous influence, and how they communicate both publicly and privately can have real-world consequences. Ultimately, this is a story about truth, accountability, and the protection of those who risk everything to uphold it. It's about whether South Africa can ensure that parliamentary oversight functions safely and effectively, or whether fear will silence those who dare to speak. Now it's your turn, South Africa. We want to hear from you. Do you think Paul O'Sullivan is justified in refusing to appear in person before Parliament's Ad Hoc Committee due to safety concerns? Should Parliament intervene when statements made by senior officials like KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi could potentially endanger a witness's life? And more importantly, do you believe witnesses and investigators in South Africa are truly safe today? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Be honest, be respectful, and share your perspective. We read every comment, and your opinion could spark a conversation that matters. Your insights help all South Africans understand the real stakes behind high-profile political and legal battles, and we want this space to be an informed debate and discussion. If you value fact-based political analysis and want to stay informed about South Africa's most important developments, make sure to subscribe to Mzansi PoliScope and hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching, thank you for engaging in the comments, and as always, stay informed, stay critical, and never let fear silence the truth. Mzansi PoliScope is here to bring you insightful, verified, and fearless political coverage, because knowing the facts matters.